Hi YouTube, I'm just here with Vanessa, and I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your last name.
It's nice and simple. Smith.
Oh, Smith.
Yeah.
For some reason I thought it was a big last name. Anyway, sorry about that.
Yeah.
So I'm here with Vanessa Smith, the owner of Little Mysteries, and we're just doing a little interview here for our YouTube, and I just wanted to open up with saying thank you. Thank you for having me here as a reader, and also letting me do this interview with you today.
Sure.
So yeah, anything that you'd like to say? I know you've been the owner of Little Mysteries for 18 years.
Yes, we're actually 19 years.
Oh, wow.
We've had our 19th birthday, and then now we're in our 20th year.
Oh, wow.
As we speak. So it's been actually myself and my mom who are we're co-owners in the business, and we have been doing this for all that time, and all those people who said, "Oh, you shouldn't go into business with your family," I think
you proved them wrong.
Well, we've proven wrong. I mean, it's been definitely helpful that we have separate focuses. You know, everyone has their own aspect of the business that they are in charge of, and so the ultimate say on that part of it. So I think that's kept things on an even keel all these years.
Oh,
and, my sister Amanda has worked here as our stone buyer, but she has gone off to have a family, and her time is and her focus is that on that right now. So it's
and you're
a
going
family
off.
Business. Yes, so
you're going off.
I'm headed to the UK in the fall to do a master's.
So exciting!
Yeah, it's definitely a change of pace. I mean, I've been doing retail for such a long time. I've been at school part time, but this will be focusing on it full time, and I'm pretty excited. But it's definitely going to be a transition.
Yeah, you were just saying you have to live on residence for the year.
Yes, negotiating relationships with other people, and who's going to clean the kitchen and things like that.
But you have your own bathroom.
But I have my own bathroom.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
so that's a good deal for you. What are you studying?
I'm studying archaeology.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's been a very much an interest of mine. I just finished my undergraduate degree in anthropology with a focus in archaeology, and decided that I wanted to continue pursuing this, and the master's will give me the professional designation so I can work as an archaeologist here and abroad if I want to. And
that's so exciting.
A new path for sure.
That's very exciting. So you had mentioned your sister is the stone buyer. What is your role here at Little Mysteries?
Well, basically I'm in charge of a lot of the stocking of the store, a lot of the writing for our newsletter, for the blog, for the Facebook page. I make decisions about what books we're going to carry, what products we want, lines we want to have in the shop, and then do the ordering and a little bit of the merchandising. So I'm sort of more the stuff you see in the store is kind of my responsibility. And my mom Sandra is more the staffing and financials and dealing with the government and all that good stuff. So again, everyone has their own portfolio.
I can remember when I was in high school, I would come all the way from Cape Breton just to come to your store because it was really the only store like this. And for those of you that don't know what kind of a store, how would you describe Little Mysteries?
We say that, in our heart we're a bookstore, but sort of a niche bookstore for spirituality, conscious living, holistic health, those sorts of topics. Some people would call it sort of new age, but I think that's somewhat of a limited label for things. I mean, in some ways we're very old age. A lot of these traditions are much older than a lot of the Western spiritualities we know. Things like chakras and yoga and the pre-Christian pagan traditions. So those are all old age, not so much new age. So we decided that a broader label. So conscious living, I think, is one of those more expansive.
I like that.
Umbrellas that we can have.
I like that you say that because a lot of people might not know that New Age isn't really that new. Why do you think that we call it New Age? Like, where do you think that comes from?
Well, it's very new for a lot of people. I mean, for most of us here in the Western world, you're raised with, there's a relatively limited number of religious traditions that are sort of foremost in our experience, whether we're raised in them or we're just growing up in our society. So when people start talking about all these, shamanic traditions or druidry or, the magical associations of stones, for example, or something even as straightforward as yoga.
Yeah.
It's still kind of novel and unusual for some people, so
Mm-hmm.
it seems new, but it's just new to them.
Yes.
In some ways, but.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been great because over the years when we first opened the store, there was we had an interested core of people who had a spiritual practice that was in line with the store. But over the years, we've really seen things grow. I mean, we used to have this tiny little bulletin board with like 4 business cards on it for like a Reiki practitioner and
Yes.
someone who taught yoga through the rec center, and it was just sort of the seed was there, but it hadn't really grown. And then here in Halifax, and then right across North America, there's been so much blossoming of interest and again awareness of all these different possibilities for spirituality, these different possibilities for the importance of meditation, for example. More and more people, whether they're following a spiritual practice or not, they're taking on some mindfulness and a meditation practice, and it's so wonderful to see the changes that have happened over that time period. It's pretty dramatic.
It is. I absolutely agree. So how do you think, do you think it's going to be easy for you not to be in charge of all these things? What do you think you're going to, it will seem like, in my opinion, with all of those responsibilities, going to school will be such a breeze, like, compared to what you do now.
It's definitely a difference. It's going to be a transition. It's going to be a different skill set. In some ways, it's nice to be your own boss and to make a lot of the decisions, but in other ways, you're responsible for so many things and you wear so many hats when you're a small business owner that, going back to being a student and having a very sort of set day, like you expect that you're going to be in class at this point, you're going to go to the library at this point, and you're going to work on your paper at this point, whereas, some days here I show up and I think I know what I'm doing, and then suddenly everything goes topsy-turvy because something has to be dealt with, or, someone's sick and you're filling in their schedule for their hours, or just, you just wear so many hats and you never know what you're going to do from one day to the next, in all honesty.
I feel like, do you feel sad that it's closing, or you're happy, or do you have mixed feelings, or?
It's definitely mixed feelings. For myself, having done this for such a long period of time, I really feel like I've achieved what I set out to do. We've been very successful as a retail business. I mean, particularly here on Barrington Street, where a number of businesses are closing up, and we've seen so many things come and go over the years. Having 19 years under our belt in retail, we're possibly ancient in retail terms. So in that way, it feels like an appropriate time to wrap things up. Still on a high note. We're not closing because we're going out of business. We're closing because we're going on to a new direction. So on that way, it's definitely, I feel very positive, and of course I'm excited about my studies. And Sandra's looking forward to her retirement as well. My sister has some little ones who will enjoy seeing their grandmother more. So for us, it's definitely a very positive thing. I mean, it's going to be a bit tearful and hand over the keys at the end of it all. But certainly, we had hoped that someone would step in and buy the business and continue the Little Mysteries tradition, maybe with their own spin on things or their own vision, but in some capacity in the community. But unfortunately, that hasn't happened. Banks, don't really lend for retail. So I think the takeaway message we've come out with, from this experience, because we thought, we'll give it a whirl, but it's not the same as selling a house. It's a different kettle of fish. So, so we're sad in that aspect of it, that it's not going to be there for the community, because we certainly, we know lots of people, and a lot of our customers have become friends, and just the familiar faces, and we feel badly that we're not going to be able to be there to have the resources they're looking for, and just share in their progress as well. But
that makes sense.
Change is good. I've heard. So we'll go with that.
Okay. For some reason, I'm just wondering, what was do you have a memory of the worst possible scenario that has happened to you while on the job here at Little Mysteries? Or the best? whichever you choose.
Well, I mean, I'd
Or
like
both.
over the years, we've certainly had some wonderful stories. I mean, being sort of alternative spirituality, holistic health, we meet a lot of people who are kind of marching to the beat of their own drummer. I mean, they have a different take on reality, and that's not a bad thing. It's just you negotiate these things between you, and you
like
understand.
The way you put that.
Okay, that's a different perspective than mine, but it's all good. So that's always interesting. I mean, we certainly meet some wonderful people that way. But I remember that we had a story that has stayed with me. It's been a number of years ago. We had a young woman who was a regular customer in the store. They didn't live in town, I don't believe, but we'd see her every once in a while. And I'm not sure, she had some sort of debilitating chronic condition, and she'd come in, and the last time she came in, she said she was headed into the hospital, and she didn't think she was going to be coming out.
Oh.
And she wanted to come into the store one last time, and it's just like, even after all these years, you still feel kind of choked up just saying that. But it was something that it just really made us feel like we'd done a good job and created a good space and made it positive. It wasn't just a store, but it was like a place that she wanted to be at the end of her time. So that's
amazing.
Yeah. So that was it. It was sad, obviously, but. But it was something that reaffirmed for us that we were doing a good service in the community, and that we meant something to at least this young woman. But certainly we haven't had any in terms of the negative side of it. I mean, Halifax has been a really positive place to have this store. I mean, people. I know folks who have shops like this in, for example, Toronto, and they said they've had a lot more problems with people being upset about the spiritual practices and tarot cards and whatnot that they represent. And Halifax has been a very open-minded community for that, which is great, because the Maritimes tends to get a bit of a rep as a negative, conservative, stuck in the mud kind of.
Well, that's great.
And I'm sure there's, I mean, if we'd opened this store, perhaps other places in Nova Scotia, we might have had a different reception. But Halifax, we've got, the Shambhala Buddhist community, we've got the Universalist Unitarian Church congregation. We have a lot of students coming in from, all over the world with different spiritual paths of their own. So it's definitely, we've been well received, and obviously
great.
we've been here for a long time. So.
Oh, that's really good.
Yeah.
So one last thing is just to give me 3 random facts about yourself. Something people would think would be like, whoa, I wouldn't expect that from Vanessa.
Oh, okay.
Even just one.
Yeah. I come up with 2 right off the top of my head. We'll see if the third one pops into my head. I just finished an undergraduate in anthropology, as I said, but I have a previous undergraduate degree in fine art photography.
Oh, okay.
So
when did you go to NASCA?
I graduated in '93.
Okay.
So.
Because I went to NASCA too.
Yeah.
In 2000, 2005.
Yeah. So.
Oh, that's interesting.
And I am a Scottish Gaelic learner.
Oh.
So I'm not Hanyal feeling to hast Hami Agyansakug. So I'm not fluent at this point, but
pretty fluent.
I'm learning. So so there's that, and a third one.
So in Scotland, do people talk Gaelic? Is it sort of like a language that
it's
kind of like Latin, is practiced but not?
There's pockets of strong Gaelic. I mean, it's promoted as the second language of Scotland.
Okay.
But in terms of the actual speakers, there's a lot of people who are learning it as adults. They didn't learn it in their homes as children, but there's pockets of it in sort of the Outer Hebrides, like on Lewis, for example. There are speakers, and there's communities where they're trying to encourage it as the language of choice for that community. So it's
nice.
It's reviving. It's a very slow process, but hopefully
they're keeping it alive.
Yeah, and certainly around here, there's a lot of again, Gaelic learners like myself, and pockets of native speakers too.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm not coming up with the third one,
That's
so
okay.
it'll be a
We'll
mysterious
keep it a
third
mystery.
fact.
Yeah. Okay, so is there anything that you wanted to say that you didn't, that I didn't ask or anything?
No, just to, I guess, reiterate that we've had, it's been such a wonderful experience having the store. Just the various things, like say, wearing all those different hats, you learn a lot. You
Yes.
learn how to do, practical things. You learn how to, deal with people with, again, so the different, different mindset, different
Yeah.
drummer, sort of, and just, taking everything, so one, being present in the moment and saying, well, I have things I've worried about from yesterday and things I'm thinking ahead to tomorrow to plan, but right now I really need to be present in the moment and focus on this and, give the person in front of me their attention or my attention and be present. So
That's nice that you're practicing that mindfulness.
well, trying. I mean, it's every day you have to, so I think, start out right from this is what I'm doing again. Stop.
I learned that in yoga when I took my yoga training, abhyasa, or being in the present moment. It's not that easy to do.
No.
Especially when you have so much happening. It's even more challenging.
Yeah.
But I think you're doing a great job of it. I mean, the store's amazing. I've always loved coming here, and I love being here, and you guys do a really good job, and I'm really sad that you're going. So, but I know that you have good things coming. So.
Yeah. I say it's a little bit of happy, a little bit of sad, but yeah.
Well, thank you so much,
You're
Vanessa.
welcome.
And all the best in your future.
Thank you.
Thank you.